Hello, welcome back. My name is Ari, and today we have a little bit of a scene change and background noise. So, cover that really quickly. My boyfriend fell asleep on the couch. Happens, so I can't record on the couch. And since I'm putting out a video every single day this month, I need to record. So, we're in front of the computer. Then, of course, as soon as I moved everything in here, set up, the lawn care people started doing their thing. They've been doing it for like 45 minutes, and it's not getting any quieter. And like I said, video every day, I have to record. So, apologies about the background noise. If you happen to hear any snoring, that's probably actually the dog because he's sleeping also. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, today's video we are talking about my plans for reading the Goodreads Choice Awards for the 2021 Goodreads Choice Awards in 2022. So if you've been with me for a while, I try to read at least 2 books in every category throughout the year, and I do this for a couple of reasons. First off, Goodreads Choice Awards shows the popular books. Like, say what you will about how racist and scummy it is, because that's kind of true. It shows what the publishers are putting money into and what becomes popular with people. Whether it's books that were in Reese's book club, or books that the publisher just put a whole lot of money behind, or just popular named authors that people recognize. Goodreads Choice is a popularity contest, and I think it's interesting to read what is popular in any given year. See if society, or at least the reading portion of society, like stays racist or reads some like useful, interesting books. At least 2 books in each category. I am going to go over the winners of each category and then what I think I might read in each category. I'm not really going to say a whole lot about them because I think we're down to 15 categories. I know we got rid of a lot of them, and I know last year and I know in previous years I haven't read all categories, but I think I will this year. I think I'm going to attempt to read it this year. There are some categories that I do not like, but I do think that I am going to make an attempt to read. And even if it's a category I don't like, it's still broadening my horizons and diversifying my reading choices. Maybe not necessarily by diversifying by author, but diversifying by genre. Because if it were up to me, I would pretty much just read fantasy and sci-fi all the time and occasionally throw in a nonfiction or classic. But this way I am reading multiple genres and kind of yearly reintroducing myself to genres that I don't like, but maybe as those genres evolve, then I'll start liking them more. Cough, contemporary romance, cough. Alright, we'll start right at the top with fiction, and the winner of fiction is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I've never read a Sally Rooney book. I've just never been interested, but they're very popular. So I guess this is my time. This is my time to read Sally Rooney. Cloud Cuckoo Land, I don't know what that's about, but I really like the cover, so I might pick that up in this category. Detransition Baby, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, so I might pick that up. I've only heard one person talk about Black Buck and they said it was awful, so I'm not sure. And then I have 123 by Lori Frankel, which is number 20 as an audiobook. But interrupting myself again before I move on to the next category, if you come across any books that you think that I should read in these categories, please leave it in a comment down below and tell me, hey, read this book. And I will try. I can't promise that I will, but I will definitely try. But I don't know a lot of these categories, so I'm just roughly guessing on what I think I should read. So your suggestions are beyond welcome. Next category is mystery and thriller, and the winner is The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This sounds like a domestic thriller, which are my least favorite type of thrillers, so I'm not super excited to read it, but I will read it. I probably won't rank it highly just because, like I said, I don't like domestic thrillers. I have read The Maidens. It was okay. I do want to read Harlem Shuffle, so that will definitely be on the list. I've read The Wife Upstairs, which again was fine, I guess. I read Razorblade Tears, which I did not like at all. And that's it. So I've already read 3 books in this category randomly because I don't feel like thrillers are really like my category. And I didn't really like any of them, so I'm probably going to add Harlem Shuffle and then probably not add anything else other than that, unless you recommend me something. Next category is historical fiction, and the winner is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I do have I think just an audiobook copy of this book, but I may have a physical copy. I don't remember. But yeah, I've read 2 other of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I like them. I have no problem reading this. It's just not something that I sought out to read, I guess. I want to read The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah just because I've heard so much about it, and I think it takes place in the Great Depression in Oklahoma, but I could be wrong, and I grew up in Oklahoma, so yeah, why not? I did read The Last Apothecary. I really can't say apothecary. I hated it. That's really all I have in this category, unless, again, you recommend me something. So the next category is Best Fantasy. I've already read all 20 of the books. It has its own video already, and I will link it in the cards. I think it's that direction. But yeah, I've already read all 20 of the fantasy books. If you want to know my thoughts, I've got videos. Next up is romance, and this is a category I skipped last year, but I will try this year, even though I'm going to be fully transparent with anybody new here, and I hate contemporary romance passionately, but I have to read a bunch of the books in this category for like other categories, so I guess I might as well read the winner too. But the winner is People We Made on Vacation by Emily Henry. It's a contemporary romance and I have no interest in reading it, but I'm going to anyway. One Last Stop I got in a book box, so I guess I'm going to read that, even though I have no interest in it. And then The Spanish Love Deception, I believe, won the debut novel category, so I'll be reading that. And then the only book on here that actually sounds the only book on here that sounds even vaguely interesting at all to me is Neon Gods, so I may read that also, like if I'm because I think that is more of like a fantasy romance, which I'm fine with fantasy romance. I hate contemporary romance. So that's like 4 books in this category. If there are any other, I think everything else on here is contemporary romance, so if there are any contemporary romances that you think I should torture myself with, please let me know. Next category is Best Science Fiction, and I've already read the top 10 in Best Science Fiction. I've actually read 12 of them because 2 of them that didn't make the top 10 I had read previously. So yeah, this one has its own video too. I'll link it up in the eye again. Next category is horror, and horror is one of my favorite categories, but for some reason I haven't read any of these yet. I own at least one of them, but I do own the winner, which is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Grady Hendrix is one of my favorite authors, and I am very excited to get into this. This is one of the categories where I actually think the winner is going to be my winner because I like Grady Hendrix so much. I've heard great things about The Last House on Needless Street by Katarina Ward, so I'll probably read that. I've heard great things about Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, so I'll probably read that. I loved The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, so I'll probably read My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. And Catherine M. Valenti wrote a horror story in here called Comfort Me with Apples, which I might read because I'm still deciding if I like her writing or not. So why not read that too? I think that's everything I have so far that I want to read in the horror category. But if there's something else that I really should read, I especially like weird horrors, please let me know. Please suggest me horrors. Humor is next. I skipped this one last year, but I do own The Winner as an audiobook. I have a lot of audiobooks from Libro FM, so sometimes I just own random books. But this is Broken in the Best Way Possible by Jenny Lawson. I love the cover of it, so I'm fine with reading that. And then the books that interest me as far as reading is the How Y'all Doin' by Leslie Jordan, because I like him as an actor, and then Where the Deer and the Antelope Play by Nick Offerman, because I also like him as an actor. So those are the two that I think that I'm going to read as well. Humor's not really my category, but again, if you think there's something that I should pick up in this category, let me know. Nonfiction is up next. So the Anthropocene review by John Green is the winner. I don't even know what this is about. It's geology of humans. Doesn't sound particularly interesting to me, but sure, I'll read it. I'm also thinking about reading The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. I don't really know what that's about, but I like Matt Haig's writing. And then Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism by Amanda Montell sounds so interesting. Like a nonfiction book about cults, sign me up. So that one I will definitely be reading. Fuzz, When Nature Breaks the Law by Mary Roach sounds kind of interesting. It's about like, what do you do when animals break laws? It sounds kind of interesting. And then Last Call by Elon Green also sounds interesting. It's a queer book, so I'm down for that. So those are my choices. I might not read all of them. I might let me know if there's any other of these nonfiction books that I should read. Next category is Memoir and Autobiography, and the winner is Crying in Age Mart, which everybody whose taste I agree with says they hate this book. I'm a little worried about reading it. I've heard that it's extremely boring, and that is my complaint about a lot of books. It's like, what's the purpose of this book? This is boring. I don't care. So I hope the characters are in Crying in H Mart are worth me reading it. And I mean, I know it's like a memoir, so the characters is the actual author, but I hope the author's life is interesting enough that I don't hate this book. The other one is Taste My Life Through Food by Stanley Tucci, because Stanley Tucci is one of my favorite actors again. And I think that is the only other one that I wanted to read in here. Yeah, that's the only other one I have. So this might be one of the two categories. Because I don't know, nothing sticks out as interesting, but as I've said for every other category, recommend me something. History and Biography is next, and the winner is Empire of Pain, The Secret History of the Sackler Dynasty, and this is like a pharmaceutical dynasty that created OxyContin. I don't know that I care, but maybe it's really good. Another one that I want to read is The Woman They Could Not Silence by Kate Moore. Feminism I'm down to read. 400 Souls, I started and I put down, I just wasn't in the headspace for it, but I do have an audiobook copy, so I do think I can get through it this year. Come Fly the World, which is the jet age story of the women of Pan Am. Sound like Pan Am ads and all of that always looks so interesting, so I'm kinda down to read a book about it, about the stewardess of Pan Am. Why not? And then I have On Juneteenth by Annette Gordon Reed. I have an audiobook of it and it's like really, really short, so down to read that. And I think that's it. I think that's it in that category. Graphic novels and comics. I have no idea how Heartstopper Volume 4 is not even on the list because Heartstopper Volume 1, 2, and 3 won the past 3 years, and then Heartstopper Volume 4 is not in the top 20 at all. I have no idea what's going on, but the winner is Lore Olympus Volume 1. I have no idea what this is about, but it looks Grecian. I'll read it. I don't know what sounds interesting in this section. I have read one of the books, so technically all I have to read is the winner. But I've read Dark One by Brandon Sanderson, of course, because I read everything by Brandon Sanderson, which was a pretty decent graphic novel. But nothing else in this category really stands out to me, so if there's something here that you think I should read, like, let me know. Learn me on graphic novels. Poetry. I read poetry last year. It was mediocre, but I mean, it's poetry. It doesn't take but like a couple hours to read the whole book, so I'm not opposed to it. I just don't really know anything about poetry. So the winner is The Hill We Climb, an inaugural poem by Amanda Gorman. So that was the speech she gave, or the poem she wrote both at the inauguration last year. So I know that's short. That's fine. It's literally one poem. I might read Black Girl Call Home by Jasmine Mans just because I really like the cover of it, but I don't. Oh, Moth I might read, or Me Moth. That's by Amber McBride. I remember somebody else talking about that, and the cover is really, really pretty. So, like, literally, I'm picking poetry by what has a pretty cover. Anyway, debut novel. Unfortunately, the winner of the debut novel is a contemporary romance, which is The Spanish Love Deception. So I guess I'm reading The Spanish Love Deception. I've read The Lost Apothecary. Damn that word. I really want to read Fire Keeper's Daughter, and I own it. I've read The Gilded Ones. I've read She Who Became the Sun. I want to read Detransition Baby. I've read Winter's Orbit. And I think that's it. Next category is Best Young Adult Fiction, and the winner is Firekeeper's Daughter, which again, I really, really want to read this. This is on my 5-star predictions for the year, so I'm super excited to read that. The other one that I want to read on here is Ace of Spades. Like, general fiction for young adult is not really my thing, but I've heard great things about Ace of Spades. I don't think there was anything else that is Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi is kind of on my radar, not because I want to read the book, but because the book is lovely. But I think that's it. Nothing else has really stood out, but maybe. Next category is Best Young Adult Fantasy and Sci-Fi, and the winner is The Rule of Wolves, which is like the 7th book in the Grishaverse, right? Like, this series follows people that you have to read, like, the first trilogy of the Grishaverse, and then the second duology of the Grishaverse and then this duology. Like, it's not one where you could skip, because I think it follows people from like the first two, which means I've got 7 books in the Grishaverse that I need to read this year, because I've only read why can't I remember the name of it? Something Crows. My brain just stopped. 6 of Crows. That's it. I've only read 6 of Crows, so I need to read all of the other books in the Grishaverse in order to read Rule of Wolves. So apparently we're doing a Grishaverse project next year. Hopefully I like it. I've read Chain of Iron already by Cassandra Clare. I have read The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I kind of want to read House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I kind of want to read Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. And I kind of want to read The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. So, Rule of Wolves is the only thing I have to read, but there's some options. There's some options in this category. The final category is Best Middle Grades / Children's. And I've skipped this every year. Middle grade and children's books really isn't my cup of tea. But there is a book in this category that I want to read this year, so I'm going to go ahead and read the category. And the winner is Rick Roward, and I'm not a huge fan. I didn't like the Percy Jackson series. I mean, I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I'm not like fangirling over it. But this is Daughter of the Deep. So, I don't know. I don't know anything about this, but I guess I'm going to read it. Middle grade's at least a quick read, so sure. But I want to read Amari and the Night Brothers, because I've heard absolutely nothing but positive things about Amari. I don't know that I'm going to read anything else in this category. Oh wait, I take that back. Root Magic by Eden Royce. I'm always very interested in Gullah Geechee culture, and Root Magic is part of Gullah Geechee culture. Words are very difficult for me today, but I'm very interested in reading that. Anyway, that's all the books that I am probably going to read for the Goodreads Choice in 2022. The video talking about those books will probably be up in either October or November, like right before next year's batch gets announced. So if there's anything that I should add to this list or prioritize that I'm already planning reading, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you tomorrow.